Welcome to the Full Nielsen. Today I'm going to be re-reviewing the Vortex Razor Gen 3. This is a 1:10 rifle scope with a 24mm objective lens, and this particular model is an MRAD. I did a review on this rifle scope probably about a year ago. In fact, I think I've shot 2 reviews on it, and some of the things I came back and corrected based off of some additional information and additional experience gained over time with this rifle scope. Anyway, I had not looked at my YouTube channel in quite a while, and I got on there the other day and realized I was missing a whole bunch of videos that I had shot previously, and this happened to be one of them that just magically disappeared or got deleted or something, and I reached out to Google to try to get that straightened out, and they were unable to recover those videos, so I'm going to be reshooting my review of this rifle scope. I feel like that's a little bit unfortunate timing-wise because I have some strong feelings about this rifle scope that I think probably go against the grain compared to what you have generally heard from reviewers who probably received these rifle scopes for free from Vortex, and as a result probably gave you a less than honest, forthright opinion about how good this rifle scope is. So I'm going to start off with the things that I like about this rifle scope and that I think they got right. The reticle in this rifle scope is excellent. The glass quality in this rifle scope is excellent. The tracking in this rifle scope is excellent. The turrets are really good quality turrets in spite of the fact that they're capped. They're well built, nice positive clicks. The illumination in this rifle scope is excellent. Daytime bright, it's just like using a red dot when you turn the illumination on in this rifle scope. So all of those things are things that I think they did well. The build quality of this rifle scope is also excellent, and the fit and finish of this rifle scope is excellent. Now for the things where I think they missed the mark. This eyepiece is a non-locking eyepiece. And depending on how you have this slung or how you're carrying it, there is the possibility of accidentally having this eyepiece move on you, which is going to give you a less than stellar image through your rifle scope. In some of Vortex's own scopes, like the AMG series, they have locking eyepieces, and I don't know why they would not incorporate that into this rifle scope, especially at the price point that they are asking for this particular scope. So I don't like that it does not have a locking eyepiece. I wish that the turrets on here were locking turrets instead of just capped turrets, because I think that gives you the best of both worlds. It makes sure that you don't inadvertently adjust your turrets without meaning to do so. But for those who would like to be able to dial windage or elevation with this rifle scope, they would have the ability, that additional capability with this rifle scope. So I feel like that design, and Vortex has that on some of their other scopes, that obviously they're long range precision PRS type scopes. They have that and they do a great job with that. That's one of my favorite features on some of their other scopes. I think they could have incorporated it here, again, as I mentioned, especially at the price point that they're asking, or the price that they're asking for these rifle scopes. And it would not have hurt anybody who was worried about inadvertently bumping the turrets or anything on the scope, and it would have given an additional level of capability to those of us who like to dial elevation in our rifle scopes in certain situations. I do not care for the fact that there is no adjustable parallax on this rifle scope. Some people will tell you, well, it's, they just set it and forget it because of the speed and all that kind of stuff, and I get that. But again, for those of us who would like to be able to set it on a certain parallax setting, and then if we need to, and we've got time to adjust for certain situations, I would love to be able to dial elevation and also dial in the parallax to exactly where it needs to be. Now, additional things that I don't care for on this rifle scope. The eye box on this rifle scope is incredibly sensitive. And in fact, that's the deal breaker on this rifle scope to me. All of these other things I've talked about would be somewhat forgivable, but for me, the reason I'm getting rid of this rifle scope is because the eye box is so sensitive that even with a light recoiling AR-15, anything from 6 to 10 power with a light recoiling rifle, like I mentioned, an AR with a muzzle brake on it, it is extremely difficult to maintain your sight picture under recoil. Whether you're laying prone on the ground resting on the magazine or holding the rifle up or shooting freehand, it is very difficult to maintain a sight picture with this under recoil, as I mentioned, with a very light recoiling rifle. Now, I have had this on a 308. I have had this on AK variant rifles, and with those, it is not just difficult, it is almost impossible to maintain a sight picture under recoil. That really hurts the usability of this rifle scope. If you can't track a target under recoil and maintain your sight picture, then you have no idea where your rounds are actually landing, and you don't know how to adjust in order to effectively engage your target because you can't see what's going on downrange. That's a deal breaker for me personally. Now, I know other people may feel differently, but that's a big deal for me. Now, if you have a bipod on your rifle, and then you have a rear bag or something like that, or you have it mounted to a tripod, you're probably going to be able to maintain a sight picture on 6 power, maybe even on 8 power. On 10 power, that may still be a bit of a struggle. Not on a bipod, but on a tripod. So that eye box, being as sensitive as it is, to me, is just a deal breaker. It completely decimates what this scope could have been to me. Now, another thing that I don't like about this rifle scope is the way that the rifle scope looks on 1 power. Rather than it looking like a true 1 power with a nice flat image like you would get out of a Vortex Razor Gen 2, you get this fishbowl effect. Is it still usable? Yeah, it is. But one of Vortex's own products, the predecessor to this, that costs significantly less money, does a better job than this rifle scope does on everything from 1 to 6 power. The image on 1 power is flatter. The eye box on that scope, in my opinion, is much more forgiving than what it is on this rifle scope. So the only additional capability you're getting out of this rifle scope is from 6 to 10 power, and that is, in my opinion, damaged because the eye box is incredibly sensitive to where you can't see what's going on under recoil. You can't adjust the parallax for those longer distances, which may merit being on that 10 power in the first place, and you can't dial windage and elevation on this rifle scope. So in my opinion, the way that I view this rifle scope is it's almost like it doesn't know what it wants to be. And from a design element, they made all kinds of compromises to make it a jack of all trades, and I don't feel like it fits the LPVO role as well as other competitors, and I don't feel like it fits the tactical type rifle scope or longer range rifle scope role as well as many other options. So all of those drawbacks to me, combined with the last drawback I'm going to mention, really make this not a good choice, in my opinion. So the last thing I'm going to mention about this rifle scope that's a major drawback is the price. At the time I'm making this video, they are asking approximately $2,400 for this rifle scope at most retailers. $2,300 to $2,400. Now, that's not what I paid. I paid $1,800 for this rifle scope when it first came out, and I have seen the prices range. I've seen Bowtac Tactical at one point selling them for as low as $1,700. And yeah, so at $2,400, I would never consider purchasing one of these rifle scopes, and I would not recommend this rifle scope considering all of the drawbacks that I just mentioned, especially when you consider many of the other options that are on the market in terms of LPVOs. Even at $1,700 to $1,800, around the price point that I paid, I still do not think that this is a good option. And as I mentioned, I will be getting rid of this rifle scope because of all of the issues that I have experienced with it that really hurt the usability of it for me. Now, at what price point would I recommend this scope? Well, for me personally, I don't think I would put this rifle scope on any of my rifles regardless of price point. I know that is a very strong statement. I guess one exception I might make to that is if you were running this rifle scope with an offset red dot, you may gain some capability at distance, and still be able to run your offset red dot. Maybe in a situation like that where you're not relying on being able to track through the optic at closer ranges or anything like that, then maybe I would say, yeah, that situation might be good. I actually had it set up that way. And even like that, I will not be keeping this. I feel like this is a scope that tries to be a jack of all trades and really is a master of none, as the expression goes. So for those of you who are looking for an LPVO that is going to be really quick and a nice flat image that you can use as a substitute for a red dot at close range and then still have the capability of 6 power, and you only want one optic on your rifle, look elsewhere. This isn't it. For those of you who are going to run a dual optic setup on your rifle, meaning an LPVO or a different type of scope with an offset red dot or offset backup sights of some kind, I would recommend personally running a larger optic, something that will give you tremendous capability at range, like an Arkin EP5, which is a big scope. You're thinking you'd put that big tactical scope on an AR-15 type rifle? Yes, I would, and then I would run an offset red dot. And then if you need to use it at close range, you can. But if you're going to be set up in a position to be engaging targets at a closer distance, you're going to have a world of capability over what you would get out of this Vortex Razor Gen 3. The eye box will be much more forgiving. You have more magnification. You have all of the other bells and whistles in terms of adjustable parallax and all those types of things. It will be superior in every way if you're going to run a dual optic setup to go with a larger tactical scope. You'll get a lot more for your money going that route. So really just depends on what you're looking for or what you want. Now, I understand if some of you out there think that I may be mistaken and you love your Vortex Razor Gen 3 1 to 10, good for you. In my opinion, I think most of the glowing, shining reviews you are seeing on this rifle scope came from people who probably received it for free from Vortex and are giving you a less than honest review or opinion or assessment of what you're getting for your money. So anyway, that's my opinion, or that's my conclusion of my review on this Vortex Razor Gen 3 scope. If you guys have any questions or comments or any experience of your own that you would like to share with the rest of the community about this rifle scope, feel free to do that in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.